Well, this is the first real Ulster Championship game. Two fantastic teams, two teams in transition, and whoever wins today will set the tone for the next few years up here in Ulster. There's huge interest in it. Fantastic occasion, perfect conditions. There's a slight wind just blowing straight across the field. It won't help any team. Lovely temperature, and looking forward to a good game, Dara.
And away we go at the athletic grounds in Armagh. Malachy Mackin combining with Kieran Toner already. Tyrone won the toss. Very gentle breeze, as Tony said. There's Jamie Clark. They need to get him plenty of ball. Here's Malachy Mackin, experienced man around the middle for Armagh. It's been their area of concern. Caelan Rafferty at 21 making his debut. So is Anto Duffy. Left half forward now, back to Aaron Kernan. Such experience he has and such scoring potential as well. And there's a foul on Brian Mallon, who's found a rich vein of form over the last while for Armagh. They've got a free in and a chance to open the scoring. Brian Mallon will take the free himself. They were relegated, of course, from Division 1 of the National Football League. They did win in Kerry, they drew with Cork, but a lot of inconsistency through their campaign. And Brian Mallon with the free to give them the lead, and he's done just that. A point to no score, just a minute in.
Dara, just in relation to the matchup, so we were talking about Peter Hart before, and Finian Moriarty, wing back number 7, is marking him, and Aidan McCurry is on Jamie Clark. So with all the hype and different theories before the game, that's the way it's ended up.
Decent kick. Breaks for Anto Duffy. Two of the finds, both wing forwards, were for Armagh that league campaign. Forker and Duffy, two young lads. There's Finian Moriarty, who will take the free, and Peter Hart, who he's marking just in front of him. Moriarty lets that one sail in with Dermy Carlin out very quickly, yards ahead of Brian Mallon, who was never going to get to that. Joe McMahon, and now Martin Penrose, pace to burn. Colm Kavanagh shot, foul by Kieran Toner. Free on the Armagh 45-metre line. Joe McMahon from Omagh will take this himself. Kieran Toner was in Australia for 4 months. McMahon has leathered that, and the crowd reaction tells you it has sailed over. That's a great free with the angle even further than 45 metres out. And Tyrone draw level. Both scores coming from place balls, and that's a really good one for Joe McMahon.
Yeah, fantastic shot on the outside of his right foot. And just looking at it, Stephen O'Neill and Owen Mulligan, they're trying to isolate those two guys inside. So Marty Penrose is just slipping out a little bit, trying to create the space.
Philip McAvoy with a very good kick, hitting the Tyrone 65-metre line. Colm Kavanagh, his brother here, watching on. Here's Stephen O'Neill, the Tyrone captain, been around for years, still only 31 years of age, and the Armagh backs doing their stuff and dispossessing O'Neill, and Aaron Kernan in a spot of other. Here's Kieran McKeever, the Armagh captain. Donaghy with the quick hands, and Malachy Mackin clears for Armagh, but that's gone straight out of play. It's a Tyrone line ball. Paul Grimney and Paddy O'Rourke, manager and trainer. I wonder, was Paul Grimley in touch with Kieran McGeeney, the Kildare manager, after that Division 2 Football League final, which Kildare won, beating Tyrone, and that, the way Kildare played that evening, seen as a blueprint to beat Tyrone. It was their first defeat of the year, but they've got a free in, and some afters with Kieran McKeever and Stephen O'Neill, two old pals and at times old foes on that occasion.
Kieran McKeever will just have to be careful. Sometimes Kieran just walks the line, and if he gets a yellow card, not so bad for a corner forward to get a yellow card, but for Kieran to get one, that would be a lot more serious. In fact, there's nothing in that action.
And Martin Penrose, while you're watching that, is lining up this free for Tyrone. They beat Armagh by 6 points in the qualifiers last year. It could have been a lot more, and Penrose missing that on the near side, and he'll be cross with himself.
You mentioned Paul Grimley and the Kildare connection. I've no doubt that's why Peter Hart is starting at wing forward today, because Kildare just blocked up the middle, stopped all the runs to make sure that he didn't get forward from centre back. So I presume he'll just have a little more freedom at wing forward than he would have at centre back.
But what an amazing year he's had. 5 goals and 5 points he scored in the league, playing that, what Tyrone like to call it, that almost a quarter-back role. Aidan Forker is quick. That's a decent ball into Mallon, who's out in front. Brian Mallon, goal chance for Mallon. Good stop. They still haven't got it clear. Jamie Clark has it, appeals for a penalty. Referee is not interested. Clark did go to ground. There was some contact in there, but the referee decided that it wasn't significant enough to give a penalty. But Pascal McConnell's save, and then Justin McMahon took it away from the goal line. Goal scoring chance for Armagh, and they got in around the back very easily. Here's Sean O'Neill wearing that number 7 Tyrone jersey. Philip Jordan made it his own over the last 10 years. Colm Cavanagh, a little bit of open road in front of him. Aaron Kernan couldn't get close enough, and that's gone over. Quite a turnaround from almost conceding a goal about 30 seconds earlier down at the other end to Cavanagh, Colm that is, going up the other end and scoring a point his brother would have been proud of. Tyrone lead 2-1.
Oh, what a turnaround. Goal opportunity in the other square, and Colm just comes up the field and clips it over. But there was a lot of things in relation to that. There was a goal opportunity. Was it a penalty? Was there a foul? And then of course they took it in the end. Here we have it, a body check, blocked the player, in on goal, fantastic save. Then it goes back to Jamie. I'm not sure that was a penalty. I think it was a good fair tackle.
While you're watching that, Armagh attacking down at the other end, and that's been belted wide by Finian Moriarty. Tyrone leading by 2 points to 1. Another look at this, and the save was super. What about the penalty appeal?
Oh. Not too sure that was a penalty, Darrett, which was a fantastic save, and some answer to come down the field and just for Colm Cavanagh to clip it over the bar.
Yeah, that's what we saw just about 30 seconds ago, the wide from Finian Moriarty. Mackin and Toner colliding with each other. There's Andy Mallon. Mark Donnelly leaving that to Joe McMahon. Donnelly we'll get a look at during the course of the game. The centre forward developing into quite a player. That was an uncharacteristic error from Owen Mulligan, just losing concentration and losing possession. Declan McKenna, his championship debut at left corner back. Now it's Kieran Toner moving it quickly to Caelan Rafferty. There have been some doubts about the way Armagh approach matches this year. At times their style has been confused. It's certainly not as direct as the Cross McGlenn style, but there are only 2 cross players in this starting 15, and that ball has ended up wide.
Yeah, fantastic play by Aidan McGorry, pushing him into the corner without fouling him and making sure that he doesn't get space to run at him, because that's the one thing about Jamie Clark. If he gets the ball and runs at you, he's like will-o'-the-wisp. He's quite dangerous. Tyrone are creating huge space in front of their full forward, and if they can only get ball into them, they'll be really dangerous.
Yeah, it's the deadly and dynamic duo of Mulligan and O'Neill in closest to the Armagh goal. Pascal McConnell varying this. Dermy Carlin is another Tyrone player in a rich vein of form. Sean O'Neill, very crowded as they came back into the centre. Colm Cavanagh, and now O'Neill out in front, and that's well played, Kieran McKeever, but O'Neill has it back. Jamie Clark was there helping out too, dropping incredibly deep on his own half-back line. Kieran Toner, Malachy Mackin, 2 around the middle have done all right for Armagh, and it's an area they're worried about. Kevin Dias. Caelan Rafferty looks lively, only 21 years of age. He's been marked by McMahon. Here's an opportunity now. Goal-scoring chance. It's buried by Aidan Forker on his championship debut. The 20-year-old scores the first goal of the game. He's thrilled with that. Was quite a soccer player in his day, but chose Gaelic football, and in that moment you can see why.
Yeah, very well done. Good ball in. I was thinking at this stage, what was Jamie Clark doing out around the middle of the field? But good play in, worked the ball into Aidan Forker. and he did it right. Just kept it low, passed it the goalkeeper, nice and low. Perfect finish. Very hard for the goalkeeper to get down that low and stop that ball.
What a start for Aidan Forker in the Ulster Championship quarter-final. His third year in charge of this team, and the feeling around these parts is they really need to make a significant statement this year.
Yeah, they do, and they have Crossan again in the background. They're doing significantly well as well, and the surprising thing you mentioned earlier, there's only 2 of them playing here today, which is a big surprise for somebody outside coming in looking at it.
Tony Kernan is on the bench as well. Armagh sucking players back and just making it so difficult. That was a foul by Malachy Macken on Owen Mulligan. But this orange blanket screen, whatever you want to call it, in front of Mulligan as he got drawn out trying to win the ball. Colm Kavanagh on the Armagh 45-metre line. Took a hit from Toner, and that has gone high, and that is a very good score. Really fine point from Colm Kavanagh, his second of the afternoon, and that's the way to beat a blanket defence. You're forced to kick from distance.
Yes, and the other thing you have to notice about Tyrone as well, a lot of teams to beat the blanket defence go over and back across the field and wait for the opportunity to open up, but Tyrone goes straight at you.
It's all straight lines. McAvoy with the kick out, and Toner still winning a fair bit of ball for Armagh. Declan McKenna, that's loose, given straight to Cathal McCarran of Tyrone, and now it is Joe McMahon. McMahon letting the ball in. O'Neill, brilliant flick, great hands, and now it's Mark Donnelly. Will Tyrone get something out of this? Mulligan, Owen Mulligan has to score and does score, and that's quite a response to the shock Tyrone suffered with Aidan Forker's goal. Level for the second time. Mulligan off the mark.
Yes, and those forwards look lively. Even the flicks, everything looks to be done at speed with great intent. This could have been a goal if it just came off. Good defence, but get it back to Muggsy and straight over the bar. Very good forward line.
That was brilliant stuff. Tyrone with 2 unanswered points since Armagh's goal. Kieran Toner, Mark Donnelly working hard to try and get it back off, and Conor Gormley out referee spotted some holding. Armagh a free. Aaron Kernan, 59 points he scored in his championship career. Here's Brian Mallon. Mallon sending that in towards Jamie Clark, isolated against his marker. Clark jinking, weaving and scoring. That's what he can do. Get him the ball in the right areas and he'll beat his man every time, and more often than not will score.
And there's nothing a cornerback can do about it. You get a quick diagonal ball like we see here coming up. He just beats his man. Quick diagonal ball. There's very little a cornerback can do about that. And you don't want to foul. And once he gets in, he should score all the time. With this kick out here now, Dara, what they're doing is Tyrone are spreading it wide because Armagh are bringing the extra player out for the break out here at midfield. Just there.
Kavanagh got a hand on that, but it's broken well for Armagh. Tyrone lose their own kick out. Rafferty back to Aaron Kernan. Kernan with a wonderful ball in, and Clark looking to get the touch on that, and Pascal McConnell, the most relieved man in the athletic grounds, just to stand there and catch it easily, but Clark was just millimetres away from making a significant touch on that. Ronan McNabb was a real doubt all week, missed a fair bit of training, the Tyrone wing forward, wearing number 10. Sean O'Neill. Now Owen Mulligan. It's Brendan Donaghy there with him, who was made to look a little on the foolish side. Mulligan has got 1 point already, taking a fair bit out of this, looking for a man in a better position. Who's Penrose? He had the shorts almost dragged off him, and that's a great point for Martin Penrose. Missed a free earlier on, but making up for that now. And Mulligan, well, was just teasing his marker, and Penrose, the pace was brilliant.
Ah, fantastic. Owen Mulligan has been doing that sidestep for the last 15 years, I think, but Martin Penrose finished it well. Now there's huge place created inside in that full forward line, and they look lethal when they're getting the ball.
Third time level. Aidan Forker running straight into Peter Hart, who hasn't seen a lot of it in an attacking sense for Tyrone. That came off the outstretched arm of Colm Kavanagh. Aaron Kernan. Lovely angle on that for the corner forward, Caelan Rafferty, to get out and onto it. Will he have the courage to shoot? He ran into traffic, took that second too long, a bit of inexperience, and Dermy Carlin, who's all experience and all will and drive for Tyrone, wins the free. Justin McMahon takes it, and Joe has a bit of open road in front of him, but Malachy Macken just on his shoulder. Now it's Stephen O'Neill who is drawing Kieran McKeever out. Angles the pass into Owen Mulligan. Telepathy between the two of those. Now Peter Hart, we mentioned that he hadn't seen a lot of it. There you go. Peter Hart with a very fine point. His first significant touch of the game, and he scores from it.
I was only watching him wondering how he was going to get into the game, Dara, because the play was passing him by, and the first significant opportunity, he slots it over the bar. But we have a really good game here, Dara. Really good game. Two sides intent on playing football.
They've recovered extremely well after Forker's goal, which came in the 10th minute. It's been a fairly frantic 6 minutes or so since then. Colm Kavanagh. Kieran Toner just slapping at him. Breaks down. Peter Hart. Look at three Armagh men around him, and Finian Moriarty has it for Armagh. That's Ronan McNabb in front of him. Moriarty hits the deck free to the home side. Brian Mallon keen to get on with it straight away, and he's done just that. Jamie Clark trying to wriggle away from Aidan McRory. He's got Caelan Rafferty through the middle, but Clark being expected to do an awful lot over there in that position. Did well to get that, but did he pick the ball up off the ground, I wonder? Aaron Kernan now steadies down, normally scores from here, but on that occasion his shooting deserted him, and by quite a distance as well.
It's very interesting to see when Jamie Clark does get the ball. Aidan McCrory isn't the only person on the ball as well. He has significant help from all those around him, including Dermy Carlin, who went over and gave him a hand. He's never isolated on his own, and that's the one important thing for a cornerback.
Mark Donnelly with a pretty clean take. It's Declan McKenna of Armagh out there with him. Good pace been shown by Cathal McCarron, but Mark Donnelly doesn't need any assistance. He's got some now from Stephen O'Neill. Quick hands again. Cathal McCarron, the right half back, steadies down, shoots, and he's put that wide. Never looked comfortable from the moment he sort of steadied down to take the shot. It was an awkward looking effort.
Yeah, he's done very well now since he's come out from full back. I know what he means when he comes out from full back out to the wing back. You get great freedom, but really there was a couple of forwards around him like Muggsy and O'Neill that he could have slipped the ball to. He could also have punched it over the bar from there. He scored 1-6 so far between league so far this year, so he does go forward and he gets a nod score.
Right down the middle again from Philip McAvoy. Toner couldn't hang on to it. Moriarty losing the race with Peter Hart. He's so good from these kind of positions. Can he pick it? He had his jersey pulled as well, and the referee spotted that, and a free into Tyrone, and you would expect a point coming up from Owen Mulligan. Well, Hart is so fast, and the Armagh defenders couldn't cope with the acceleration. Wouldn't look out of place in Poznan, would it?
Yeah, and well spotted, Joe McQuillan, because it was a right sneaky little pull in the jersey. It was the half foul, as we say, but the funny thing about it, he was going away from the two men all the time.
Armagh making a change. Paul Duffy replacing Declan McKenna, so Declan McKenna's championship debut lasting only 19 minutes, and well, Paddy O'Rourke recognising the issues that McKenna was dealing with, and the experienced Paul Duffy taking his place, and Owen Mulligan slots that over easily. Six minutes since Armagh last scored. That's 3 in a row for Tyrone. A huge kick from McAvoy. Kavanagh couldn't hang on to it. It's with Anto Duffy. And Tyrone happy to give away the free there. It was Ronan McNabb. They reset the defence, and Aaron Kernan with the outside of the left boot, letting Jamie Clark, his cross teammate, run onto that. Aidan McCrory there with him. Clark from a tricky angle, just nonchalantly sort of swung at that. It's a gorgeous point from Jamie Clark. Again, get him the ball. He does that.
Yeah, he kind of defies the logic of a modern day footballer, actually, because he looks quite an individual. I'd say he's not a guy that spends a lot of time in the gym by the looks of him, but he can do things like this. His innate ability just to flick it over the bar like that.
O'Connell favouring this side a bit. Toner went flying after that, but again it's Colm Cavanagh who comes up with the ball for Tyrone. Sean O'Neill. Plenty of space for Conor Gormley. He kept Jamie Clark scoreless in the game last year. Now it's Stephen O'Neill, the Tyrone captain, tackled a little high. Oh, that's wonderful from Stephen O'Neill. We've got some great forwards who are on form on show today.
Oh, that's brilliant, Dara. Stephen O'Neill versus Kieran McKeever. Two great players, and this is a little cameo of the whole game. Fantastic. Beats his man, gets on that left leg, turns onto the right leg and straight over the bar. Fantastic play.
Fabulous point. That was the 10th scoring chance that Tyrone created in the match, and as you can see, they've taken 8 of them. 6 of them from play.
Yeah, you're seeing two teams go at one another head for head, man for man, and it's producing some cracking football. I think Tyrone will be happier in around midfield.
Working with our colleagues from the BBC here in Armagh today.
Stevie's doing the damage, so.
Must be a pretty hard experience for him. Kevin Dias to not be playing. I mean, now Paul Duffy, the Armagh replacement, with McKenna gone. Now it's Caelan Rafferty again. There's a burst of pace there. Dias for Armagh. They needed that. Just a point back.
Again, Darryl, that's really good football. It's great to see two teams intent on playing football, good passing, and every time there's a chance, there's not too many wides in that game. Kevin Dias kicking over the bar. That time in Australia certainly would have helped him develop as a footballer.
Sean O'Neill winning that from Pascal McConnell's kick out, and now Dermy Carlin. Huge amount of space in front of him and backing himself as he continues forward. Now goes to one of his forward buddies, and Martin Penrose trying to draw that in but unable to do so. That's their third wide. It's a great break forward by Dermy Carlin.
Yeah, but he looked more uncomfortable the further he went forward, actually. You could see the doubts creep into his mind. But again, Peter Hart isn't in this game, Dara. I know he got a point a while ago, just about 5 minutes ago. But other than that, really, he hasn't been in the game at all.
He's moved into a more central position now. Finian Moriarty has gone with him. Well, the referee is, I think, going to give Armagh free at the end of all of this as he tries to make some sense of it. Toner flying high after it, and then the crunch, and the ball has been moved forward a little bit too for some verbal dissent. Aaron Kernan for Jamie Clark. He was just trying to help McCrory out of the way, and somehow he managed to get the ball. Jamie Clark trying to wriggle away once more. A free in. You wouldn't fancy marking him, Tony?
No, and he's quite cheeky as well, because he plays with a smile on his face. He might be a small guy, but he was able to edge his man just enough to get in, and when he's inside you, look, he's lethal.
Aidan Forker will take the free for Armagh, their goal scorer. Sides have been level 3 times. Nicely done from Aidan Forker. Aaron Kernan used to take those from those very positions, but Forker, a reliable left foot, brings the teams level with just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. Kavanagh again flying after it, but Aaron Kernan has picked up a lot of loose ball at the back of those kind of bunches of players on the kickouts. Clark has got a couple of yards on Aidan McCrory. McCrory on his championship debut, it'll be an education for him, and Clark from an almost impossible angle has put it wide. It was impossible.
I thought the umpire was getting very excited there for a second there. I thought he was going to go for the green flag.
4 Armagh wides. Just how close was this?
It's hard to tell, really, isn't it?
Yeah. O'Connell has been busy with the kickouts in the last few minutes. Malachy Mackin appeared to be held by Conor Gormley. Referee didn't see it that way, and Gormley puts it forward, and now it's Colm Kavanagh, and Kavanagh took a hit from Duffy. Referee says play on, and that's slotted over by Mark Donnelly of Tyrone.
Yeah, Colm Kavanagh's having a big influence there, breaking from the back. Probably was a free, but in the end they deserved their point. Good score.
Sean, your wee brother's not doing too badly.
Yeah, certainly. I suppose the mobility is working out well.
They don't want to see him injured at this stage because they're down so many, you know, with Sean, his brother, missing, and Sean probably would have been playing in the central position, probably centre field, centre forward. They just can't do with missing another player.
Man-to-man football, 1-15.
It's fantastic, and you know, you have to give Armagh credit for that. I suppose coming into this game, most people thought Kevin Dass would drop back, but making a fantastic spectacle.
Some super scores. Jimmy Clark, from an Armagh perspective, is causing you problems.
Kieran McKeever.
Yeah, Jimmy Clark, I think
took a bit of a knock.
He almost had a Stevie O'Neill one there a couple of minutes ago.
Such an experienced player, vice captain on the international rules team.
He's doing well so far.
A little knock wouldn't stop Kieran McKeever.
Absolutely not.
Mark watching the game.
So
with Sean,
Philip McAvoy.
He's catching every ball on the sideline. I think he's still
good take, really good catch by Anto Duffy. Cathal McCarron left in his wake, and Finian Moriarty, I think, done for just blocking off McCarron's run as he tried to get up there to at least contest possession again, and then the ball just kicked away by Aidan Forker.
And where we are, Dara, we're right above that incident, and he got it spot on, absolutely spot on.
Joe McMahon putting the ball down for Peter Hart. So Hart giving that absolutely everything. It's just tailing to the left. Well taken by Kieran Toner, who's at times ruled the air here in Armagh. He's been brilliant. Aaron Kernan. Low clearance out to Aidan Forker. Seen a fair bit of him already. He's a stylish footballer. Kevin Dias. Malachy Mackin. Popped up for Dias to run onto, and he's gone past McMahon. Dias has got a point already for Armagh. Great block down by Ronan McNabb, and Tyrone snuffed that out. Textbook block down by McNabb. Stephen O'Neill fell awkwardly, but he's all right. Anto Duffy and now Aidan Forker. Punting that into the corner. Jamie Clark again glides away from McRory, and Rafferty missed that, just seemed to take his eyes off it. Clark has it again. He's willing to shoot from almost anywhere, and he's put that one wide again. It was an easier call for the umpire on that occasion.
Yeah, it was, but that's a second in a row now from absolutely impossible angles. Great block there by Tyrone. You mentioned Kieran Toner there. He's after catching some great ball around midfield too.
Dermy Carlin. Aaron Kernan for company. Here's Peter Hart in a deeper position, inviting Mark Donnelly to burst onto that. Duffy had it, then lost it. They've got it back again. Here's Kieran Toner for Armagh. Heavy collision there. Aaron Kernan. Armagh free. Just over 5 minutes to the break. Aidan Forker. It's not a good ball. Never gave Andy Mallon a chance of getting to that. Conor Gormley challenged and tackled high. Free to Tyrone. Aidan Forker giving that away. Sean O'Neill. Ronan McNabb. Strange to see somebody else in the 10 shirt apart from Brian Dooher, but McNabb has had a good year so far. Joe McMahon. Toner there with him. Owen Mulligan. McNabb helping it on now. Cathal McCarron. McCarron is not having a good day with the shooting. Well, what a wonderful goal that was from Aidan Forker. That advantage was wiped out pretty quickly by 3 successive Tyrone points, and it is Tyrone 9 points, Armagh 1-5 here in the athletic grounds, and the referee is going to give Tyrone a free. Nobody holding back out there, as you would expect in a meeting of these two great rivals. Sean O'Neill taking the free for Tyrone. Mark Donnelly. The 2 Armagh men close to him. Stephen O'Neill trying to give him an option and an angle, but Owen Mulligan in a better position. Now O'Neill steadies down to shoot. Now what does that look like? Close but wide. The pace of it's been fairly frantic. The quality's been really good. It's just dipped a little in the last few minutes, which I suppose is understandable.
Yeah, I suppose, but it's a really good game, Dara, and I think the ground here lends itself to a good atmosphere. It's kind of everybody's on the pitch. It's a perfect occasion, a good day, and the two teams are intent on playing football, and there's been some very, very good scores, Dara, and there's huge intensity there.
Aaron Kernan is looking concerned. It would appear the right hamstring is the issue.
And he's had a very good game. He's winning an awful lot of breaks from midfield, setting up the balls inside.
Well, he's really struggling there.
Yeah, well, a hamstring is something you can't run off, Dara. If it's gone, he has no hope.
Well, the hope for Armagh is that he'll be all right to continue, and that would appear to be the case.
Well, if it's a torn hamstring, he has no chance. With 32 minutes, they might say, we'll just have a look at it, see can he run it off until half-time and assess him then.
He's not even walking freely, but anyway, we'll watch his progress over the next couple of minutes as we head towards half-time. Peter Hart had his jersey pulled, the collar of it you could see clearly under the watchful eye of Joe McQuillan, the referee. Hart in that central position, in a better place for Tyrone to try and orchestrate things, and he spotted the movement from Martin Penrose. Anto Duffy there in front of him, and Penrose, the minute he hit that, he knew he'd scored. He didn't even watch to see it clear the crossbar. $10 points to 1-5.
Yeah, fantastic ball by Peter Hart into the corner. His man was just too far off him altogether, and you cannot give a class forward like that, Martin Penrose, that much space. You must be touch tight, right up close to him.
Tyrone have won the last 4 matches between these two counties. 2005 the last time Armagh won. Aaron Kernan is not moving at all well. He's trying his best, but it's that left leg, it's the right leg indeed, and I think he's gone. I'd be amazed if he comes back out for the start of the second half.
No, not a chance.
They actually may even take him off now. They've Tony Kernan getting ready to come in. I saw a flash of a number 24, Aaron Kernan. That is a huge blow for Armagh. His right hamstring, and it's that much vaunted and much celebrated Armagh half-back line which is going to lose a key player. Kernan is still running, still trying to play a part for his team, but if anything they need to get him off at this stage if he's not going to be able to continue. Tony Kernan is getting ready to come in. That's Paul Duffy. He was the first Armagh substitute, and they're punting it into the corner for Jamie Clark. Last couple of times he's got it over there, he's had a a pot at the post, and he's missed both of them. Caelan Rafferty been forced further out. Kevin Dias, and now they're trying to get Clark in around the back. Look at Martin Penrose, happy just to let that one go wide.
Oh, that's great play by Martin Penrose. As a defender, you'd love to see a selfless act like a forward coming back, covering right in front of you. But if you have a slow build-up like they had there, it's easy for forwards to get back.
It's actually not Tony Kernan. There's a huge amount of space in front of the Tyrone full forward line. Everybody almost bunched inside the 265s. Now Jeremy Carlin, you get a glimpse of that space now. Well, you won't actually. Jeremy Carlin. That looks fantastic from Carlin, the cornerback. He looked uncomfortable earlier on and didn't fancy himself to shoot, but he had a go at it there, and he was right to have a go. That's a great point from the left cornerback, Jeremy Carlin, and some daylight opening up between Tyrone and Armagh as we head into added time. Brilliant point.
Yeah, fantastic score. Strong enough to push his man off and takes a score from about 35 yards. The way Tyrone play, it doesn't matter what position you're in, Derry. You could actually end up in front of the goal, so I'm sure in their practice games and training they have shooting practice to cornerbacks as well as the corner forwards.
That's 3 unanswered points from Tyrone. Tony Kernan was going to come in wearing 24. He sat down. Then Gavin McParland, who's 25, he took the tracksuit top off. He's now sitting down again, so maybe Aaron Kernan is getting through this hamstring issue. Here's Andy Mallon, the Armagh right corner back. Now Kevin Dias, they need a point now. Dias been forced across and sideways. Now it's Finian Moriarty looking for a man in space, and the extra man is the cornerback Andy Mallon. Now Malachy Macken was going to shoot, goes back to Aaron Kernan. He felt in a better position. Paul Duffy, will he steady down and shoot? Didn't catch that at all well, but it may work out. Mallon now, Clark, and Clark, it's a 45. It's a 45 of Jamie Clark from that position. Fancied himself to score, but for the intervention, was it of McNabb?
But it didn't matter, Dara, because they had 13 men behind the ball, every one of them working hard. Armagh's build-up is too slow. They should really get the ball in quicker, because if you just take your time, it will allow Tyrone to get back, and it doesn't matter who's back. Even Martin Penrose was back again. There was only 2 players inside their half.
Brian Mallon needs to put this over. It's 11 minutes since Armagh last scored. They went 9 minutes without a score before that. Tyrone have kept the scoreboard ticking over consistently through the half, and Brian Mallon has put that wide. The 2 added minutes are up. That's their 6th wide. Very, very entertaining game here at the Athletic Grounds. Aidan Forker's goal in the 10th minute was a great start for Armagh, but Tyrone have got into it tactically. They're getting things right. Peter Hart starting to come more into it, but Tyrone lead at half-time. They are 11 points to Armagh's 1-5. Set though for a fantastic second half. Join us for analysis after the break. And we're ready to go at the start of the second half. Armagh, Aaron Kernan has gone off, so Gavin McParland is on in his place, but Gavin will play in the Armagh half forward line. Kevin Dias will revert back into the half back line for Armagh, and Armagh, or Tyrone indeed, have brought Michael Murphy in. He's wearing number 29 for Joe McMahon. We'll just confirm that in due course, as Martin Penrose has the quality of his O'Neill's jersey tested. It stood up to the test from Andy Mallon, but the free given to Tyrone.
Yeah, clear pull of a jersey. And it's a perfect position for Martin to kick it with his left leg. I know he missed one in the first half, but he's got 2 from play and he's playing really well.
It's Justin McMahon who has gone off for Tyrone. Joe has gone in full back. This is Martin Penrose for the first point of the second half, and he's converted that. So an even healthier position now for Tyrone. You saw Michael Murphy out around midfield for Tyrone. That was him trying to get involved. Mark Donnelly is there as well. Armagh need a bright start to this second half. 4 points behind. The qualifier game last year at Healy Park, it was as good as over at half-time. Tyrone won by 6. It could have been an awful lot more. Brian Mallon helped out over the sideline. Free taken quickly. McMahon couldn't get a hand on that. Here's Jamie Clark. Conor Gormley there with them. Free in. It's not a penalty. It was outside, but a free in on the 13-metre line.
He's very elusive, Dara. As soon as he turns onto his left-hand side, leaves his man for dead, and Conor Gormley just gets a stop, and it's just outside the box. A good call again by the referee.
It's just all about getting in the ball in the right areas. Here's Brian Mallon slotting over the point. It's their first since the 25th minute. Pressure on Paddy O'Rourke, as you can see, like so many others. He's connected via walkie-talkie to somebody watching in the stand. Ronan McNabb of Tyrone, Joe McMahon. Well, the risky pass paid off. Colm Kavanagh, Stephen O'Neill way out in front of Brendan Donaghy. Donaghy giving him a fair bit of space. The move breaks down though, and Kieran McKeever has it for Armagh. Gavin McParland. Jamie Clark way out in front of McRory. That's Caelan Rafferty. Bad wide.
Yeah, Caelan Rafferty is a guy that works hard. He gets on an enormous amount of ball, but his finishing isn't great, Dara.
When we switch it back, it's actually not worse. Right, just give me the mic, don't worry about that. And that's a Tyrone free. And Peter Hart going down. There seemed to be some kind of a collision with Finian Moriarty of Armagh. It doesn't matter. It's actually all collapsing now. What can you do? Everything. Myself. It's all breaking up. It's like it's on a bad wave radio or something. Well, it was that incident involving Peter Hart that left him on the floor. It's grand, it'll be okay.
Every time Peter Hart tries to go forward, he's body checked. I suppose that's. I suppose you have to live with that when you're one of the main men trying to, and it's an Ulster.
Maybe it's others that are
like this.
Need to keep close to Colm Kavanagh, bouncing off that big hit. O'Neill attempted to keep it in play, not succeeding though, and that's called as their 6th wide. And the referee wasn't mad about some of the off the ball stuff. So a point apiece since the second half restarted. 3 between them. Cathal McCarran, Ronan McNabb, now Mark Donnelly, Colm Kavanagh. Oh, just jumped over the outstretched leg of Finian Moriarty.
Finian would want to be a little bit more careful now. He's walking on thin ice at this stage.
Anto Duffy for Armagh. Penrose showing great determination to get it back. Peter Hart with a little bit of space for almost the first or second time today. Kieran Toner trying to barge his way through. Now Michael Murphy. Mark Donnelly. Tyrone looking menacing And Brendan Donaghy dragging him back, giving away the free. And Penrose will certainly fancy this. And is there... Well, there was no card for Brendan Donaghy. We haven't had any yellows so far in this match. It hasn't been in any way a dirty game. Joe McQuillan has let the thing flow. When there's a foul, he's punished it.
Here again, Martin Penrose was fantastic in his intensity in winning the ball back.
All the big names Tyrone have lost since last year. The quarter-final defeat against Dublin brought about a string of retirements, but the injury crisis, the likes of Kyle Coney and O'Neill, they've lost Sean Kavanagh particularly over the last little while, have focused the minds, and that gave Armagh a boost in itself with those players of that quality out. Here's Martin Penrose, and Penrose doesn't miss those. Tyrone leading by 13 points to Armagh's 1-6.
Yes, Darragh, in preparation for this, I actually watched the Westmeath and Tyrone game in the National League, and Kyle Coney that night was absolutely spectacular in the scores he was getting. And it's a shame that you don't have the best young players playing here today.
Philip McAvoy. Michael Murphy unable to hang on to it, and Tyrone with a spring in their step again, and Donnelly just overhit that. McAvoy fires it out to Paul Duffy. Huge Armagh support, great support for Tyrone here in the athletic grounds today, but Armagh need to get moving. Brendan Donaghy in a more advanced position. Caelan Rafferty. Brian Mallon chipping that forward. Here's Jamie Clark. They've got the ball to him. He spins McRory. They need a score now. Clark from a tricky angle has nailed that one. It's 2 apiece since the second half began.
Again, it was the ball in, a real good ball in front. He'd stepped one way, lost 2 of his men over on his right foot and straight into the back, or straight over the bar. See here, he loses 2 men with 1 sidestep.
Pascal McConnell's kick out struggled to reach his own 65. Here's Paul Duffy now for Armagh. Caelan Rafferty. Indeed, it's not Rafferty, it's McParland, and that's a really good point from Gavin McParland, the number 25. First meaningful thing he's done at the start of the second half. 2 in a row. And you can hear the roar as the ball is returned from the crowd, from the Armagh followers here.
Yeah, and Colm Cavan is down injured at midfield, just getting some attention. He's played really well in the first half, won some good balls and broke forward as well and added on 2 points.
Caelan Rafferty, by the way, the youngster who started in the Armagh full forward line, is out at centre forward. Was been picked up by Joe McMahon. Now it's Paul Duffy. Duffy with Peter Hart there with him. He goes to ground, needs some help, and he's dispossessed by Ronan McNabb. Half a chance brewing for Armagh, and they wasted it. And here come Tyrone. Conor Gormley hopping off Aidan Forker. Mark Donnelly again. Little bit of space in front of Donnelly. Aidan Forker trying to get back at him. He's pulled up as well, and Forker may have to come out of the game. He's gone down as we follow the play. Malachy Macken has it after the loose Tyrone pass. Aidan Forker is really struggling, but we're with the action with Gavin McParland. Brian Mallon now. Anto Duffy. Armagh up the intensity again. McParland was available. Brian Mallon. They move back across. Kevin Dias, where is the penetration? The ball now fired in towards McParland. He's got it. Clark is there with him. And that wasn't the best move McParland has made after his really fine point about 90 seconds ago. Tyrone let off the hook. Aidan Forker is trying to run off his injury right down in front of us. Michael Murphy. Owen Mulligan with McKeever, and McKeever did enough to take it away from Muggsy. Kieran McKeever. He's one of the best man markers around. You wonder though, would he better serve Armagh in a more forward position in their half-back line instead of so close to his own goal? Brian Mallon. Now it's Andy Mallon, the right corner back, involved again. Mallon shoots but puts it wide.
Oh, it's a shame because McKeever did very well in getting his hands in. McKiernan is marking Muggsy, and then Stephen O'Neill is being marked by Brendan Donaghy. There's 4 of them just inside the halfway line, and that's a brilliant battle in there.
Armagh change. Johnny Hanratty, wearing 21, is replacing Aidan Forker, whose hamstring would appear to be the issue. Johnny Hanratty was tried at midfield in several challenge matches Armagh had. So there's Kieran Toner. That's what he was doing so well in the first half, all over the field. Now Anto Duffy. Something different about Armagh just at the moment. Kevin Dias pushing Tyrone back, but they need to move the ball in quickly. Paul Duffy does move it in quickly. McParland couldn't hang on to it first time. McParland, shoot on sight. He's made quite an impression since coming on. Scored one fantastic point in the 9th minute of the second half. And here we are now in the 14th minute. Tyrone leading, but only by the bare minimum.
A good direct ball into the full forward into Gavin, and he just turns on his left and straight over the bar. Great score. Great intensity now from Armagh for the last 10 minutes.
Well, the word from upstairs must be good for Paddy O'Rourke. His team still trailing, but 3 unanswered points. Tyrone haven't scored since the 7th minute of the second half. Joe McMahon fouled, and Hanratty happy enough to give away the free. He's only on the field about 2 minutes, and Joe McQuillan has the notebook out, and we see a yellow for Johnny Hanratty, so that ain't clever. Not so happy with the free now. It was needless. He's just trying to, I suppose, stop the Tyrone momentum building. It's been a while since they last scored, but they lead by a point here in Armagh. Conor Gormley, all opens up in front of him. The parting of the Orange Sea, and that's in for Stephen O'Neill, and O'Neill just about keeps it in play. Deciding to take on Donaghy and doing extremely well, and drawing the foul too. It was very congested back on the 20-metre line, and O'Neill decided to go himself, and they give away the free, which Martin Penrose surely will convert.
Yes, it was just a hard ball for him to win. He had all the work to do. Beat Brendan Donaghy on the inside, and no full-back worth his salt would let a forward slip in down the line like that. He gives away the free for Penrose. I suppose that's the big battle of the game, and that'll determine who will win or lose. How McKeever and Donaghy are going to get on with O'Neill and Mulligan in the full forward line. And if the forwards get good direct ball, then it's very hard for anybody to do anything about it. Armagh have gone man-to-man, Dara. We've seen, particularly in Ulster football, but in football in general, most teams playing mass defences and all this. Armagh today are gone man-to-man in all their game, all their players. And it's made for a very entertaining game when they have the ball.
Well, the stoppage at the moment is for an injury. Could be another hamstring issue for Finian Moriarty, and they've lost Aidan Forker and Aaron Kernan to hamstring injuries. But Martin Penrose still getting ready to take the free. The 2 Tyrone points in the second half have both been from Penrose place ball, so this could be a hat-trick for Penrose, and for all the good stuff that Armagh have played, this to push Tyrone further in front. He won't be bothered by the whistles, they're not welcome, but Martin Penrose shutting the ears and slotting the ball over the bar. Tyrone 14 points, Armagh 1-9. It's their first score in 9 minutes.
Darren Martin Penrose's work rate is incredible. How he gets back and tackles and is back up again to kick the ball over the bar. It's fantastic.
Kieran McKeever. Brian Mallon was just trying to let that run, and Jeremy Carlin made sure it was out of play.
Could have killed somebody in the stand in the meantime.
Direct ball in, but right down the throat of Joe McMahon. Aidan McCrory, as you can see, like all of the Tyrone players, not afraid to run with the ball, and it's mostly in straight lines right at the markers. Here's Peter Hart again, just to see, for a moment there were 4 Armagh fellas around him. And Penrose beaten to that by Andy Mallon, but now it's Stephen O'Neill. O'Neill unable to draw that back in.
Unlike him to miss, Finian Moriarty is lucky he isn't on a yellow card at this stage. Every time Pete Hart runs forward, he's on his jersey, he's pulling and dragging off him.
Yeah, you won't quite see it there. The 2 players have hold of each other now, and you may get a glimpse of it towards the top of your screen. It's Hart now who's doing the defending with Armagh in possession. It's Johnny Hanratty, and now Gavin McParland. 2 points he scored since coming on. Malachi Macken hasn't been as prominent in the second half for Armagh. They may make a switch soon. Cathal McCarran of Tyrone. Ronan McNabb has really lasted the pace extremely well. He missed training, several days training over the last couple of weeks with an injury, and Armagh, the card will be out, you would think, for Kevin Dias. They're going to make another substitution. So Dias booked, along with Johnny Hanratty of Armagh. Charlie Vernon wearing 27 for Armagh, and Finian Moriarty is gone off, so they make that switch. Sean O'Neill belts that in towards Stephen O'Neill. Donaghy's struggling. O'Neill can win it from here for Tyrone, you would think. Just managed to get rid of it. Did he throw it? Here's Martin Penrose on his right foot, and they get a point out of the attack. There was a goal chance on there, and O'Neill just couldn't wriggle free to take the shot. Donaghy was all over the place.
Yes, O'Neill did everything right, except he lost his footing. He still didn't give away the ball, gave it back to Penrose, and that man is all over the place. Kicked it with his right leg this time over the bar. Peter Hart now will love this. He sees Finian Moriarty going off the field. He'll wake up dreaming of him in the middle of the night, I think.
Anto Duffy of Armagh. Penrose has got all 4 points Tyrone have scored in the second half. Kevin Dias was a bit on the high side on Peter Hart. They have marked him very, very closely, but there have been other players that they need to worry about, and Kevin Dias has just been booked, and he could be sent off here. Referee Joe McQuillan calling him over. Dias just a couple of minutes ago got a yellow card. There's the second yellow, and Armagh down to 14. The red card for Kevin Dias, and it's going from bad to worse for Armagh. 3 points behind, and Tyrone now with a one-man advantage.
Yes, 20 minutes gone. At this stage, you'd feel like that Tyrone should push on at this stage. And Kevin Dias actually has had a very good game, Dara. He's played quite well. It's a shame to see him go off, but the referee had no choice whatsoever. He did the right thing.
Dias didn't need to do that. Anyway, it was a long way out from goal, and this task getting more difficult by the second for Armagh, who haven't beaten Tyrone in the championship since 2005. and more indiscipline creeping in. Sean O'Neill of Tyrone. Michael Murphy. Kieran Toner making the challenge, and Murphy has ballooned that one wide, but it's too early to say. It doesn't matter.
They always matter, Dara, and as well as that, you had 2 or 3 lads screaming for the ball around him. What Michael Murphy will have to do he'll have to have a cool head in the heat of Ulster Championship and take the easy option that's for him.
Armagh have John Kingham getting ready to come in, and we spoke a few minutes ago about Malachy Mackin's contribution in the second half. It would appear that Malachy Mackin is going off, and John Kingham, wearing number 26, is coming in for Mackin. There was loads of speculation around Armagh all week that Kingham would actually start in at full forward. Paddy O'Rourke, during a number of games in the league, played with a big target man. Now he has a big target man. What John Kingham is 6'4", and going right in close to Pascal McConnell. Will that be the bit of inspiration that Armagh need indeed, because well, they haven't scored in 9 minutes or so. They got back to within a point, and well, Penrose has kept things moving along nicely scoreboard wise for Mickey Hart's men. Well, that was a push, and Armagh free, coming up for the foul by Cathal McCarran in discipline. It's moved forward to Johnny Hanratty, gets on with it. Jamie Clark. 3 Tyrone men surround him, and Clark has got a free in. Paul Grimley and Paddy O'Rourke deep in consultation. Instructions for Caelan Rafferty. If there is to be a comeback, this has got to go over from Jamie Clark. He's scored 3 points in this match. All of them have been from play. Clark made good contact with it, but he has put it wide. And that now is Armagh's 10th wide, 3 of them coming in the second half. And it's a bit of a flat atmosphere here in the athletic grounds from the Armagh followers' point of view anyway.
Yeah, well, when you miss something like that, that's really a gimme at this stage for players at this level to kick the ball over the bar.
Pascal McConnell gets on with it, placing the Ulster semi-final up for grabs. There is some space now for Anto Duffy to try and do some damage, but he isn't going to do it with that, and John Kingham, the big target man, will need better ball than that.
I suppose that's a different level of composure that Tyrone have, and Armagh just don't have it at this stage. Like, when do you have forwards inside like Jamie Clark, that ball should be worked into them rather than just ballooning the ball wide like that.
They've both scored 4 each in the second half. It was 3 points of a lead for Tyrone at half-time. Still it's 3 points as they go in search of another score. 15 points to 1-9. Dermy Carlin got a peach of a point during the first half, and brilliantly blocked down on that occasion by Paul Duffy. Brendan Donaghy picking that up legally with pressure on him from Stephen O'Neill, and a decent ball out to Johnny Hanratty. Down to 14 players after the sending off of Kevin Dias. Seemed to be a push in the back on Gavin McParland. Vernon putting that in, and it's got to be holding, got to be a free in. John Kingham is fired up, as you can see. Joe McMahon pleading his case with referee Joe McQuillan, but the referee has given the free in to Armagh, and this should go over. This has just got to go over. That's Joe McMahon who sees yellow.
Again, that's dangerous for Joe, playing full back, getting a yellow, but it looked like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The two of them were just hanging off each other, going for the ball. In fact, the ball was just incidental in the whole thing.
So Jamie Clark puts that one over, and there is still time for Armagh. Their first point in 13 minutes. Just two between them. Hanratty fisting that forward. Caelan Rafferty, whatever instruction he got from Paul Grimley has worked, and Peter Hart seems to catch him late. Hart has run away from the incident, but Rafferty was certainly caught. The referee not taking any action. Rafferty's back to his feet. So now Brian Mallon inside the Tyrone 45-metre line. Can he slot this over? Out of the hands for Mallon. 11 wides they've kicked, 4 in the second half, and Mallon has stolen a yard or two. That's a really good point from Brian Mallon, and Armagh not gone away yet, not by any means, just a point behind, and the scores all of a sudden have dried up for Tyrone. They haven't scored in 8 minutes.
It's been pretty even in the second half, Dara.
That was the Peter Hart challenge on Caelan Rafferty, why the free was given. So under 7 minutes to go. Awkward fall by Kieran Toner, but he's all right to continue. Armagh tail between their legs. Andy Mallon launches that in towards Kingham, the big man. McMahon got a hand on that. That was brilliant from Joe McMahon. And McCarron there on hand with Peter Hart to clear the ball forward. Tyrone have had just one scorer in the second half. That's been Martin Penrose. 3 of those points coming from frees. One back though brilliantly by Gavin McParland. Paul Duffy of Armagh. And Duffy launching that in. Kingham is in after it. McMahon got a hand to it. The Tyrone full back line, and particularly their new full back at the moment, Joe McMahon, doing well. Conor Gormley. They are under the cosh. Armagh got to within a point earlier in this half after about 13 minutes, but Tyrone were able to pull away. Will they be able to respond again, Tyrone? Cathal McCarron. They lead, but it doesn't feel like they're leading at the moment. Owen Mulligan. 2 Tyrone men out there. Martin Penrose with Peter Hart. Gets it back from Murphy, a poor pass from Murphy, a loss of concentration, and here goes Charlie Vernon in the foot race with Michael Murphy. Vernon, Gavin McParland, only 21 years of age, one of the new breed, the growing new breed in this Armagh team. Conor Gormley gives away the free. There's an Armagh player gone down injured. I think it may well be Anto Duffy who is struggling at the moment. But anxious times for everybody here, including Paddy O'Rourke, as they claw their way back closer to Tyrone. They're a point behind, and we've got about, just over 5 minutes to go.
It's amazing when a man goes off, how it affects the team. It has actually raised the spirits of Armagh, and Tyrone have gone all defensive.
They're playing with 14 men. They've lost Aaron Kernan to injury. They lost Kevin Dias to a red card in the 55th minute. Ryan McMenamin will be coming in shortly. Owen Mulligan has gone off. Niall McKenna, wearing 24, is taking his place. So Mulligan has seen his last action in Armagh for today.
Yes, I believe Niall McKenna is flying it in training, and this has been going very well for them.
So Niall McKenna replaces Owen Mulligan. Brian Mallon scored the last one from inside the 45-metre line. What's this one like from Mallon? It's gone over. Brilliant free. Must be close to 50 metres out. Level for the 5th time. And Armagh, down to 14 players, have come back from the dead with 4 minutes to go. in May of last year, Down, who were beaten All-Ireland finalists the previous year, came here. They were expected to win and win well, and they were beaten by, 5 points on the night by Armagh. They love playing here. Here they come again. Brian Mallon, 3 unanswered points have brought them back level. Mallon has got the last 2 from huge frees. Now it's Paul Duffy. Tyrone with their defensive screen in position. Anto Duffy is free to the right of Paul. He goes left to Charlie Vernon. Down to 14 players. That's for Kingham and McParland, but Joe McMahon there. McConnell, quick hands out to McNabb. All square in Armagh. Ryan McMenamin still waiting to come in for Tyrone. Peter Hart, Mark Donnelly. So many big names missing in the Tyrone 15. Here comes Peter Hart. For so long he's been very tightly marked here. Hart, listen to the roar of the Tyrone followers. He's put that over. Peter Hart, marked out of the game for so long, has popped up at the right time for Tyrone, and they edge back in front. 16 points to 112. That's their first score in something like 13 minutes, and it's come from Peter Hart.
Yeah, it's a fantastic presence of mind for such a young player. Take the ball on and to shoot and take a score like that.
Ryan McMenamin is in the Tyrone team. Cathal McCarran has gone off. Here's Niall McKenna of Tyrone, and now Mark Donnelly. Armagh forgetting their defensive duties. Free given, point coming up, and the clock will be worked down even further by Martin Penrose and others. I would imagine it will be Penrose who'll take the free. He'll be in no rush at all to take the free. It took a huge effort from Armagh, down to 14 men, to get back level. They did that in the 31st minute of the second half. But Peter Hart, and now perhaps, and it really should be, Martin Penrose, as Brian Mallon has got a yellow card for his challenge, will put 2 between them and leave Armagh needing a goal if they have to have a future in the Ulster Championship.
Well, Brian Mallon has tried so hard, working all the way back. It's just tiring coming to the end of the game. It's very hard to keep your concentration.
Martin Penrose for Tyrone does not miss those, and all of a sudden, in a blink or 2 of an eye, there's a 2-point lead for Tyrone. They looked in all sorts of bother just 3 minutes ago, but Mickey Hart's team made of stern stuff, and they have match winners all over the place. Penrose has really put in a serious shift for them in the second half. The attendance here, by the way, 16,418. Kieran Toner winning that clean. They need to magic up a goal from somewhere, Armagh.
Isn't it great to see people like Kieran Toner going up and just catching a ball like that? That's his fifth straight catch.
Here's Jamie Clark. We're told there'll be 4 minutes of added time, so still plenty of time for Armagh. Clark needs to slot this over. He's missed it on that near side again. The wides tally, if they lose this match, will be something they need to address. 12 in total, 5 in the second half.
I wonder, did somebody get a touch to that, Dara? It looked as if there's a 45.
Well, the 45 not given. Tyrone 17 points, which is quite an impressive score, isn't it, in a football game? Armagh with a 112, and we're in the first of 4 minutes to be added on. Ricey McMenamin.
This is where the experience of Ricey and those lads come in, where they will not give the ball away. They'll hold possession at all times.
Peter Hart. Lovely hands to Niall McKenna. Hart becoming more prominent. Scored the point that put them back in front. Stephen O'Neill, prominent all the way through. Didn't have time to look at the post. That is a gorgeous point. A wonderful score from a wonderful player. Stephen O'Neill, the captain, leading by example. And there you go, a 3-point lead. They were level for, what was it, the 5th time in the 31st minute of the second half. First of 4 being added on, and Tyrone have magicked up a 3-point lead.
And that is why Tyrone have won All-Ireland's, Dara, because they can have go-to players like Stephen O'Neill. You know, to get a point like that, he just looked confident all the time. Once he got it on his left leg, it was straight over the bar.
Tyrone didn't concede too many goals in their league campaign. McParland launches that in. Clark is under it, but Kingham there too. It's come back to Jamie Clark. Jamie Clark for Armagh takes the point. Clark taking his point. Two between them.
Yes, they only conceded one goal actually in the National League, Dara, and you can see why. They're really hard to break down, and their defending starts at Martin Penrose above. He makes it very difficult even to kick out the ball quickly.
Now this kick out important now from Pascal McConnell. Right down the middle, and Toner waiting right under it. That was a clear push. It appeared on Charlie Vernon. Referee lets it go on. Here's Johnny Hanratty. Hanratty unable to hang on to it. Martin Penrose has got through an amazing amount of work. And Mark Donnelly foul. And Donnelly suffering from cramp. 2 of the 4 minutes to be added on are now gone.
Well, they'll be cute too, Dara. They'll kill the game now as often as they can from now on.
Brian McGuigan not involved today, but there is an expectation that he will be involved later in the championship, and if they win this it'll be later in the Ulster Championship too. I saw him arriving at the ground earlier on today. Kevin Dias, it was a big moment in the match. The 2 yellow cards he picked up in the space of just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he's had a really, really good game. I'm not too sure it's a good thing to bring back the likes of Brian McGuigan. There's still some fantastic young players coming through in Tyrone.
And here's one of the experienced men, Conor Gormley of Tyrone. That's a high challenge. Free coming up, and there could be some punishment too in the shape of a yellow card for Kieran Toner once he gets back to his feet.
Yeah, we see Conor Gormley going forward. Yeah. That's very, very cute play by Conor Gormley. He made sure he was going to be fouled, kill the game, Penrose kick it over the bar, and they're out of sight. That shows huge experience, Dara.
Yellow for Kieran Toner. Mark Donnelly is going off the Tyrone team. So now the free from Martin Penrose. And Penrose has really done his stuff for Tyrone in the second half. Patrick McNeese, by the way, from Coal Island, is wearing number 27 for Tyrone. And anyway, and there is the full-time whistle. It's all over, and Tyrone leave the athletic grounds in Armagh with a victory and a place in the Ulster semi-final. Mickey Hart's team were made to work all the way, but their class and their quality evident for all to see, particularly in the last 5 minutes. Armagh down to 14 players, brought them back level, got it level, but Tyrone just able to push on the afterburners and book their place in the semi-final. Fantastic performance.
Yeah, well, their full forward line really delivered. Martin Penrose and Stephen O'Neill and Owen Mulligan as well, but in particular Penrose and O'Neill. When the chances came, they took them and they showed their experience.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Tony. Tyrone booking their place in the semi-final. Mulligan played his part. Penrose superb. Ricey McMenamin came on to steady things down. But Tyrone have beaten Armagh again for the 5th successive time on a scoreline of 19 points to 113 here in Armagh City.